I was struggling to store my Kreg Rip-Cut while it was attached to my saw. While you can detach it, I typically keep them together, handling quick cuts with my cordless circular saw instead. Hey there, I'm Scott. Thank you for stopping by. I'm the owner of sawsonskates.com, where I share easy woodworking plans and space-saving workshop solutions. Storing this bulky combo is challenging, so I designed this dedicated holder that uses the reconfigurable French Cleat system. I'll show you how to build this practical project in a few simple steps. You can download this plan and hundreds of other easy-to-build projects on my website, sawsonskates.com. All my plans include a material list, diagrams, and detailed step-by-step instructions. To get your plan to build this project, click the link in the description box below. For transparency, I was not paid to talk about the Rip-Cut, but it was sent to me for free several years ago for a separate article on my site. I need 3 side sections, one for the left and right, and one for the middle. Using my sliding miter saw, I cut some leftover plywood for these parts. After cutting it, I marked the side's width on the plywood. To cut the angle, I'm going to use my circular saw and a homemade crosscut jig, which helps you make precise, straight cuts. It typically consists of a base and a fence which guides the saw. I'll leave a link for the plan in the description box. There isn't enough space to clamp the jig to the board, so I used a clever trick, applying double-sided tape to the area that will become the side. I positioned the jig on my pencil mark in the board's corner and pressed it in place. Using my circular saw, I cut the side. I repeated this step for the other 2 sides. Dig the shirt? It's a Saws on Skates original. I'll leave a link for it in the description box. Following the diagram in the printed plan, I marked the location for pocket holes that will attach the sides to the left and right bases. I like my shop builds to look as good as my furniture projects, so I hide pocket holes whenever possible. For this holder, I made 2 left sides and 1 right, so the pocket holes will be concealed on the interior. Using my pocket hole jig, I drilled 1 at each mark. Using my Kreg Rip-Cut, I cut a piece of plywood longer than I needed for the left base. After ripping it to width, I'll cut it to the correct length. I have a downloadable template for this cord holder. I'll leave a link for it in the description box. Using my table saw, I ripped it to width. I could have also used my Rip-Cut instead. At the miter saw, I marked it for length. To ensure the right side will be identical, I set a stop. I positioned the workpiece against the stop and made the cut. I positioned the side on the base and attached it using pocket hole screws. Clamps are essential for keeping pocket hole joints from shifting. While I skipped it on this angled piece, I wouldn't recommend this method for furniture projects where precision is key. Following the diagram in the printed plan, I positioned the second side on the base using my multi-mark. I attached it using pocket hole screws. The right base, stretcher, and saw support are the same width. Using my table saw, I ripped enough plywood to width for these parts. Using my miter saw, I cut 1 piece to length for the right side base. I positioned the side on the base and attached it using pocket hole screws. Using my miter saw, I cut a piece of material to length for the stretcher. I drilled 4 pocket holes using my pocket hole jig. I clamped the stretcher between the right and left sides and attached it using pocket hole screws. Note, the assembly lacks full support at this stage and will be a little wobbly. Using my miter saw, I cut a piece of material to length for the saw support. Following the diagram in the printed plan, I marked the location for countersink holes. Tip: you can attach the saw support with glue and brad nails instead of using screws. Using an awl, I made a starting point for the drill bit. I clamped the support to the assembly and drilled a countersink hole at each mark. A countersink bit does two jobs in one. It makes a pilot hole, preventing the wood from splitting when you drive the screw, and creates a recessed area, allowing the screw to sit flush with the surface. I attached it using wood screws. I cut a French cleat to length and positioned it on the sides. I marked the locations for countersink holes and used an awl to make a starting point for the drill bit. Then, I used a countersink bit to drill a hole at each mark. I attached the cleat using wood screws. With this French cleat holder, my Rip-Cut will have a dedicated spot, keeping it organized, accessible, and ready for any woodworking project. To get your copy of this plan, visit my site sawsonskates.com using the link in the description box below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. It's one of the best ways to support my building plans.